The purpose of this tutorial is to prepare our template in Word so that we can start to import our drawings in from Sketchup. Now here, this is an example of one that I've done earlier, and this is where we will get to by the end of this tutorial. So the first thing we need to do is we need to open up a new document. I'll just move this in so we can see it. And we need to adjust a few things. So we'll go to Layout, Orientation, Landscape. Now we've got to change our margins. So our margins are going to be done in accordance with AS 1100, which is an internationally recognised standard for technical drawing in Australia. So I'll talk more about that in class. So we'll click on Margins and we'll go to Custom Margins. Now our top margin for an A4 sheet of paper is going to be 5mm. Our bottom margin will be 5mm. Our left margin will be 7mm. Our right margin will be 7mm. And we won't change anything else. Press OK. Now we've got to change some settings, and what I want to do is I actually want to set up a background grid which will really help us a lot, both in setting this template up, but also later on when we're bringing our drawings in. It will really help us to be very accurate with how we lay them out on the page. So what we need to do for that is to go to up here into Word, Preferences, and to Edit. We then click on Grid Options. All right, so now in Grid Options, it's actually quite helpful to have the snap objects turned on. There might be times when it could be better to turn it off, but for this purpose, for this tutorial and for what we're doing now, it will be good to have this turned on. Now, for our grid settings, I want to have our horizontal and vertical spacing as tight as possible because it just gives us the most options. So I'm going to set them at 1mm. So 1 and 1. Now I want to display the grid lines on the screen, and what we're going to do here is we're going to keep this at 2 and 2. So what we'll have is, even though our grid lines exist at 1mm increments, what we actually see on the screen will be half of that. We'll see 2mm increments. So there will be an invisible grid line that exists between each visible grid line. The reason why we do this is because the screen can only render to a certain limit, and if we actually try to show grid lines every 1mm, sometimes the graphics in the computer cannot handle that, and you won't see them at all. So this works a little bit better. As you go on, you'll understand more why. So we'll press OK. So there we go. There's our grid lines. So I'll get rid of this screen here. So the first thing we need to do now that we've got this up is we'll draw our border. So we need to go up here to Insert, Shapes, and we're going to draw lines, and we don't want any arrows on them, so we just want a simple line. So I mean, I've been working on this, so I'll have this in recently used shapes, but otherwise just click here in Lines. We're going to draw a line, and we're going to start up here in the top corner. Now it's just got to automatically draw this line for us, so we'll just grab this end of it and take it all the way out here. Now, take note of the dimensions on this line. So we want this line to be 284mm long. There it is. And we need to change it because at the moment it's blue, and I want to change it to black, which is, it says subtle line, dark one. So we'll just change it to black. Now we need to draw another line, and the quickest way to do this is to go up into here and just click there again. We'll start up in this corner, and then we'll drag all the way down to the bottom. And just take note of that dimension again. That's 200mm. might be good to write them down. We'll click there. We want to do another line. I'm going to start here. We're going to go across. And remember, it was 284 before, so we're going to make it the same length. There we go. Change that. We want another line starting up here. Oh, that's a bit annoying. I'll just drag that in. So I'm going to take that guy there, start him there. I'm going to drag him down there. And again, I want it to be black. So there we go. There's our outline. Okay, so now we're going to start on the title block itself. Now, if you can remember from what you saw before, there were basically two sort of horizontal lines and then various vertical dividers which divided up to different things. Now, each of those horizontal lines is 7 millimeters high. So I'm going to do another line, but what I'm going to do, it's probably good if I zoom in on that bottom corner because then we can be a little bit more accurate. So I'll just zoom in and get into that bottom corner. Now remember when we set up this grid, each horizontal and vertical line is 2 millimeters apart. So there's actually an invisible 1 millimeter line in between. So the first horizontal line needs to be 7 millimeters above this bottom line. So I can see there that that's 1 millimeter. That box is 2, so that's 3, 5, 7. So this is where we want to draw this line. So I'm going to start now. And this line needs to be 100 millimeters. 99, 101, should be on that line will be 100. There we go. So there's our line. Let's make it black. The next one is going to be 7 millimeters above it. So I'll go and go again. So that's 2, 4, 6. So halfway in between is going to be 7. So here, and it's going to be 100 millimeters long. There we go. Make it black again. Now we'll do a line for the end. So it's going to be another line. There we go. And it should be 14 millimeters. There you go. Yep, that's right. Excellent. Make it black. If you forget to make it black, what you can do, oh look, I'll show you in a minute. Okay, so the next thing is we need to put in some of these divider lines. Now what I'm going to do, so I'll click on line. Now I'm going to have to do a little bit of counting here. So the first one is going to be, if this is 100 millimeters, there should be 50 squares in there. So the next one is going to be the drawing title and the name section. That's 50 millimeters long. So there should be 25 of these blocks. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. All right. So I'm going to draw my line there. Now, let's say I'm just going to draw another line. So I've forgotten to change that to the right color. So I'll just do the next bit and then we'll come back to it. Okay, so the next line has got to be 20 millimeters from this one. So that'll be 10 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's the next one. Okay. Now, this last one here, so I'm going to do another line that is 10 millimeters. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. So we've got a few lines in here that are the wrong color. So what I can do is I can select that like that and I'll right click on it and it will say format shape and it will give me this menu over here. So what I can do here is I can just select this and go, I'll just drag that in so you can see it. Okay, it's actually slightly off the screen, but I'm just going to click on the black. There we go, that one's gone black. That one's gone black. Oh, we've got this one here too. Whoop. Sometimes it does this, it actually just moves. So I'll just go back in here, I'll select him and I'll make him go black as well. All right. Now, what I'm going to do now, I'm actually going to just put in what should go into these blocks so I can show you how you can put text onto this. And the best way to put text onto the template is actually by using text boxes. It's not by just typing in normally. So I'm going to go to Insert up here. I'm going to go Text Box, Draw Text Box. Look, and I'll just click out here because what I want to do is actually set up my first text box and then just copy it. So here we go. We're going to type in. I'm going to type in the word drawing title and then I'll put it in the appropriate box. Now everything will be done with the caps lock on. So turn that on. And the other thing we can do is we can set up our fonts. So I'm just going to select that. I'll go back to home. And what I actually want it to be Calibri Light. There. Here we go. So that's, see, it's just gone and moved again. I'll just go back down here, down the bottom corner. All right. So what I want to do now, I want to copy this text box. It's done it again. I want to copy this. So I'm going to go Control C and I'll click out here. Actually, to stop it from doing that, I'm just going to go back to size so we can see the whole sheet. Okay. Now I'm going to go just click out here somewhere and I'm going to go Control V, which is paste. And it's pasted it all the way up here. So now what I can do is I can just copy this format and just change it. So the next one I'm going to do is my name. So Mr. Maddock. Okay, I'll just go down here. So I'm going to move that down into here. I'm going to move my drawing title. And what you want to do is you want to line these up so they sit nicely in the center of each box there. We'll just make this a tiny bit smaller so we can see it. Control V again, so for paste. Now I need one for the date, so I'll just double click on there or drag and I'll just type in the word date. Make this a bit smaller and I'll drag that down to there. Control V again. I want a drawing number, so I'll go, oh come on, this isn't working so well. DWG, I'll just type 1 of 1. Sometimes you might need to change that because you might have more drawings in a series, so you might go drawing number 1 of 2 or drawing number 2 of 2 or 2 of 4 or whatever. Then I'll go Control V again and I'm going to type in A4 because this is the size of the paper that we're working with, and I'm going to put him down there, and I'm going to put Control V again and I'm going to type in scale. Now these things are just telling you what goes in there because you're not actually going to put the word scale on your drawing. You're actually going to go, the scale is 5 to 1 or whatever. All right, now we've got those in place sort of, but it's probably good if we zoom into the corner here just to make sure that we get everything very nice and neat and looking good. So we'll click on this guy and we will. Now remember when we set up the grid and it was a snap to? In this situation, that's where it's really good because it's pretty much guaranteeing that what it's doing, it's either going to snap to the grid line that you can see or it'll snap to the invisible one in between that you can't see. And so it just means that it makes it a lot easier to line everything up and get everything looking very nice and neat. So there we go. So what I'm doing here is I'm just making sure everything is in the sort of, pretty much in the middle of the box. There we go. That looks pretty good. Now I'm going to zoom back again just so we can see everything. Okay, and then what I'll do, I'm going to go up here to View, and I'm going to turn the grid lines off. And I'll just click out here to get rid of that highlight there. Now this box here has got nothing in it yet, and what we're going to do, I'll show you in class, but we're going to put in a projection symbol in there, and I'll teach you all about that. Most of our drawings will be third angle projection, so we'll put the symbol for third angle projection in there, but not all of them. So, other symbols may go in there from time to time. So there you go. There is your template. So what you should do now is save this separately and just maybe call it template. And it can be reused every time we're importing our drawing in from SketchUp. Thank you.